But why use a property file? Why store passwords, or not passwords exactly, because we'll be getting that from different rate like Amazon Secret Manager or other service provider. But it's kind of a way to refer that in application. Okay. So why use a property file to store URL, username, password, or other app configuration? Okay. There is two main reasons I see. This is it wants a centralized configuration that is keeping all the settings of the app in one place, making it easy to change values without touching the code. Okay, what it means. If you add URL directly to code, okay, and in many places you need the same URL. If you need to change that URL later, it will be very difficult for you. It is not the right way to do that. The right way is to put that URL in one place, that is in configuration properties file, and get that values anywhere in the code. Okay, so if you need to modify that, you just modify in one place, in a single place in property file, and that will reflect all over the code wherever that code is used, that property or that value is used. Okay, so that is one reason to centralize to use property file, that is centralized configuration. Okay, another very important reason behind using this property file is environment specific configuration. You can have different property files for different environments. Like for development, you will have different property file. For testing, you will have different property file. For let's say production and UAT and QA. Of course, you will have different property files for production, dev, and UAT, QA. Okay, because you need different configuration. For development, you might use different database URL. You must use in development. So you will need different property files for production, dev, and your local machine as well. So another reason to use property file is environment specific configuration. Okay, you can have different property file for different environment. Like for development, you will have different property file. For testing, you will have different. For production, you will have different. And for your local machine, you might have different property file. And there will be different values for different keys in your property file. We'll see that in action. What I mean by key. Okay, so basically you'll have different settings for these all environments. A simple example can be for your development, you will have different database URL, and for production, you will have different database URL, and for testing, you will have different database URL, different username passwords, different API keys. So that all need to be managed, and only one place, and by only one place, we can do that. Even we can do that modification without touching the code. We'll see all that in action. Okay, so let us do some practical things of profiling. Okay, so here is my code. First thing is I have only one controller, that is this one, the resource controller right here, and there is only one endpoint is here, that is /resource, which is in post method. So what it does, it just logs the resource that it receives and create a response, return response. Okay, just hardcode the ID1 and status create resource and log that response and returns the response back to client. Okay, you can just test it out first if it is working good or not. So right click, run as Spring Boot app. Okay, is it running? Yeah, it's running here. So if I go to Postman and test send, okay, it is working fine. So I did this value to bar. Okay, the value I sent here came to response, came to here, and response came to here. Okay, nice. Now we need to use profiles. To use profiles, first thing we need to do is to create different property files. One default property file is here, application.properties, but we need to do different property files. See, by default it is using this default profile. No active profile set filing back to one default profile. Okay, that is default. Now we will create our own property files. So right click here, copy that and paste it. This right here. Name it according to your needs. Like I'm naming it to local, and I will paste again. Let's say dev, and once again, let's say this time I'll call it production. Sorry. Okay, properties. Okay, it's good. PRO. Okay, it's okay. Okay, here we'll have that application.properties. Okay, good to go. Once you have done that, we can use that properties, but not in a very efficient manner. Okay, what I mean by that, we'll see in a moment. Okay, so first step to create these property files. Okay, now the way it was using this default one, now we want to use the property file that we have created, might be this local one. Okay, but by default it doesn't have anything, so we'll not know how we are using that. Yes, we'll see log, but let's say I'm adding a property. I have told that the property file contains key and value pairs, so it goes like this. Let's say I have key, the name of property file, name of property file. It is application local, or just let me get application local. Okay, so now this is a key that will be used to access this value. Okay, let me just use this. Let me just write it in log it here. I need to do some changes before testing it. So to get a value, what we'll do, we'll get a variable, let's say property used. Okay, and now use value annotation. Get that value from here and use the syntax to get the value of this property. Okay, now Control S and we have created this property, but how will tell the Spring Boot to use this one? One simple way is to do some modification here and do that. But there are different ways to do that. I'm using this one for now. Other there are different ways which are command line way. There is environment variable way also, but we'll not see this one. We'll see two ways, that is using, let's define the application.property file that we'll do just right now. And other way is to use profiles in Maven using the command line. We'll see that in action also. So for now, we'll just add one more property here, that is spring.profiles profiles.active. Okay, and we'll call it dev, right? Local we have modified, so it's a local, and now it should work. Okay, you can just come to here, and it now says the following property profile is used. Local means it is working, right? And if I go to postman and end with a request, see, it's created, and let me go to log, let me go to controller. Why it is not logging that? Okay, I have created that but not logged yet, so let me just do that right here. Property used. Okay, make request. Okay, now send. Okay, now it says property used, application local. Nice, it's working good. Now similar modification I'll be doing in these properties also. So I'll go to here and no, not here but here, and copy that to, let's say, dev paste, and call it dev prod. Right, call it prod. Okay, and dev local prod. Okay, all is good. Okay, now if I modify it here, local to dev, then it should use dev instead. Okay, now here it is local. If I say dev control S, and by resembling again to lint. Okay, let me just, yeah. Okay, so now the active profile is dev. Okay, if I change it to prod, the active profile is prod. Let me confirm it. Okay, now active profile is prod. Now, is it okay to modify every time this application property? No, it is not the right way to do that. The right way is to give this thing, this property name, this property ID, you can say, or this environment ID. You can also call it environment ID, basically because it refers to different environments. But it is not right way to change it here. We need to change it somewhere here while we are building. Let me show you. Right click, that is Maven build, and clean. While we are packaging it, clean package. Here we should be able to specify which profile we are using by using this command, this flag -p. Let's say dev I want to use. Then it should work, and here we should get the dev profile. Let me just check it if it runs, if it works right now. Okay, run. And what it says. Compiling. Okay. See, the requested profile dev could not be activated because it doesn't exist, but it exists. We can see that. Why it is saying it doesn't exist? Because it doesn't know, it don't know that it exists. Okay, so we need to tell it somehow that this dev profile exists and it is here. Okay, so to do that, we need to do some modification, some changes in our pom.xml file. Shift or so go to pom.xml and add some more, add some specification about profiles here. Next, I need to define the profiles, which is first profiles. Okay, let me just check because spelling mistakes are very dangerous here. So it is profiles. Then we'll have multiple profile here. Profile. Then inside the profile we can have multiple profiles like this. Okay, and inside this profile we'll have ID, and what we'll put in that ID, we'll put this in dev local prod. So we'll just put on local, and then we'll have properties, and inside properties we'll have spring.profile. Let me just copy it from here. The thing that we have here exactly will be there. Control C and Control V here. Okay. Spring.profiles.active. We'll call it local. Okay. Similarly, we'll have same thing for dev. So I can just paste it here and make it dev, and this one as well to dev. Okay, and same thing once again for prod. Okay, prod. Okay, good. Now if I specify the property to use local, then if I specify to use property as local, it should work. Okay, so let me just test it. It is not running by default. Now it is in prod because we have changed it here. But let me just remove this thing and Control S, close this form. Right click, run as Maven build, and say clean package dash p with dev. Run. Let us see what happens. Okay, some failure is coming. What happened? Active profiles is empty. Okay. Okay, means it will not run by this way. What I need to do? We need to specify what profile should be used. Okay, it can be was this thing. We were trying to write that profile, okay, in the, let it be. No active profile set falling back to one default profile. Okay. Why it is happening? Because by default we need to tell you should use one of these profile by default. Each profile we need to tell that. So what we'll do, we'll go to form.xml again. Form.xml. And here, let's say I want to use this local profile by default. This local profile by default. Then we need to specify some more things here. We'll have activation tag, activation. Okay. Inside we'll say active by default, active by default, and make it true. True. Okay, make it true. Now, let us check, does it works? We are learning by doing mistakes again and again. Okay, so do mistake and fix it. This way you will remember everything that you have learned here. Okay, so now check it again. What is happening? Terminated. Let me try to run it first. Okay, close form.xml first. Okay, what's the problem here? Okay, control W. Right click, run as Spring Boot app. See, it's again telling again somewhere it is here, and no active profiles set back to default. Why is telling again and again? Because we need to specify which profile we are using again. And now this is not right way to that I already told. So what is the right way? The right way is to do this, Control C and this. Okay, this way you will be able to read which is the default one, default profile from this platform.xml. Okay, so this way it will be able to know which profile to use and it will use that accordingly. Let me just write it again. Run as Spring Boot app. Again some error. Okay, here again some error occurred, and here we can see it says this thing, and this is not valid. So let me check what's the problem here. Okay, cause why could not resolve placeholder name of the property value this. Okay, this might be happening because of spelling mistakes maybe in our form structure. Property activation active by default. Okay, here is the mistake. This default. Okay, now it looks good. And now let us check. First I'll say project clean. Okay, now right click, run as Spring Boot app. Now it's working fine. Following profile is active, that is local, and looks good. If I make a request, send, it says local. Now it is local by default, and that value is coming from this POM file. Okay, so be sure that you are not doing some silly mistake. Copy pasting works better here. It is better to do copy paste instead of typing, unless the time happens because of typing mistakes. So this is working. And if I want to specify that in POM, again there are some error that is causing. So if I want to specify that in POM, let me do that. Let me just remove the default activation. Then what happens if we want to specify any profile? So comment it out. Okay, Control S. Now right click, run as Spring Boot app. Let me, this again using local, but let me just do a clean. First stop this project clean. Run as Maven build. Now Spring Boot app, and let's see what happens. See, this error, and what profile it is using. See, this thing is again coming. Spring profile active, and the value is not coming. Could not resolve placeholder. So to make it resolve, we need to remove this and remove this. So now by default it would be using this local. Control S. Let me do a clean and run as Spring Boot app. Okay. Okay, now it is working properly. And if I make a request, it goes response cam and log cam here as well. Okay. Now if you want to use a different profile, what we'll do? We will go here, run as, and Maven build, say clean package. We want a package with different profile. Then now what we'll do? We will specify the dash p. We will if you want to run with different profile, you want to make a package with different profile. You will say clean package, then let's say dev, and it will build a package with their profile. So skip test and run. What happens? Let us see. Okay, build success, and it didn't tell which profile it is using. What we can do, we can go there, copy, and go to terminal. Let me just launch terminal. Control Shift P, cd ls. Okay, now java jar test API did. Okay, there is a problem with this Java. It was using the Java 11. I haven't configured for Java 17. That is why this problem is coming. So I need to do /opt/jdk17/bean/java, and yeah. Okay, let's observe. Let's observe. Application file to start. Already use. Okay. Go to Spring. Stop service if running. Okay, now start again, and it is using dev. As we have specified dev, it is using dev. And if we build with different profile, let's say clean package -p prod, it should use prod profile. Okay, so it is building. Here we should also be able to see, and yeah, profile is active, prod. And if I run it, wait, cd dot, then back to target again, cd dash, and yeah, it's done. What happened? Yeah, starting active prod. Okay, so it is working as well. And if I make a request, send, see, prod is coming here or not. Property used, application prod. Very good. Okay, and to see. So this is all about properties. If I have missed something, you can comment it out, and yeah, I'll improve it next time. I'll take care of that. And for final test, I can do here. Final test we can do for our profile. So how will we do that? There is another way also to do that. If I want to run directly with different profile, what I will do? Run as Spring Boot app. And wait, what we'll do, right click, then run as build, and here say Spring Boot clean Spring Boot run, and here you can specify profile, let's say dev, and run. Now it is using dev profile. Okay, make a call, it will show the dev. Okay, so dev is here. Similarly, if I would select different profile, run as build and clean Spring Boot run, let's say prod or local is by default, prod, let's say run, and it will use the prod profile. Okay, see prod, and if I make a request, send, prod should be coming here. Yeah, prod is coming here. Okay, and by default, if you want to specify any profile, then what it will use? It will use local, of course, because we have specified to use local already in our XML file, .XML file. So let me test it once again. Spring Boot app directly, or see directly also it is using. Wait, it is using the last two specified. So if I say stop and right click, Maven run as Maven build clean and Spring Boot run, then what it uses? It is starting. Okay, so local it is using by default, as we have already told in the .xml file that to use this local profile. Okay, so this is how it works for different profiles in Spring Boot app. Next video we might be seeing how to deploy it in AWS with a configuration of profile and test it on AWS. Okay, so a dev test on AWS will be looking in the next video. So thank you for watching this video. So thank you for watching, and this is all.